Have you ever noticed how cats stare at you? Not just a glance, not just a look, but that deep, lingering stare, like they're seeing something that no one else can. Something invisible, something divine. Now pause for a second. What if I told you they actually are? What if I told you that when a cat fixes its eyes on you, it's not just curiosity, it's recognition. Recognition of something hidden inside you, something powerful, something sacred. And here's the twist. It's something you haven't even fully discovered about yourself yet, but they see it, clearly, effortlessly. This is not a coincidence. It's not random. It's not just an animal being weird. No, it's a spiritual sign, one that heaven encoded into nature itself. You see, there is a rare group of souls on this earth, chosen by God, marked before birth, set apart to carry light in a dark world. And animals, especially cats, they sense it, because cats don't respond to what's seen. They respond to what's unseen. And if cats are drawn to you, if they seem to appear when you're feeling low, staring into your soul when no one else notices you, there's a reason so profound, so divine, it could shake your entire understanding of who you are. So don't scroll, don't click away, don't let your mind wander, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why cats are drawn to you. You'll understand what they're seeing, and more importantly, you'll finally begin to see it too. But before we dive deep into this sacred revelation, pause, take a breath. And if you're already feeling that energy in your chest, that strange electric pull, that's not coincidence either, that's confirmation. So if you're ready to unlock a mystery that's been following you your entire life, give this video a like and comment below, "They see it in me." That's how I'll know you're one of us, one of the few, one of the chosen. Are you ready? Let's begin. You've been taught to believe that animals act on instinct, that cats just sit and stare because they're bored, or maybe because they're weird. But what if I told you that this belief, this modern dismissal of the mystical role of animals, is a deliberate disconnect from a sacred truth? One that your ancestors knew and lived by. Because long before we had smartphones, science, or even religion as we know it, ancient civilizations looked to animals as spiritual allies, not pets, not accessories, but guardians, messengers, watchers of the invisible realm. And at the center of that spiritual order stood the cat. In ancient Egypt, cats weren't just respected, they were revered. Temples were built in their honor. The goddess Bastet, half woman, half cat, was believed to protect the home, the soul, and the spiritual gates that connect our world to the unseen. Killing a cat back then? It wasn't just a crime. It was a sacrilege. Because they believed, no, they knew, that cats weren't ordinary beings. They were guardians of energy, keepers of sacred balance, and watchers at the veil between the physical, and the spiritual. But it wasn't just Egypt. In Celtic lore, black cats were believed to guard sacred knowledge. In Hindu tradition, the goddess Shakti rides a cat, watching over the births of souls. And even in some early Christian texts, symbols of the lion, a cousin of the house cat, represent the spirit of vigilance and divine protection. This isn't superstition, it's not folklore, it's spiritual memory that our modern world has tried to erase. Because here's the truth, cats were designed by the Creator to perceive frequencies beyond human perception. They can hear what we can't, see what we overlook, and feel what we ignore. Why? Because their assignment is different. They're not here just to live alongside us, they're here to guard what's inside us. Especially those of us who carry the mark of the chosen. Especially those whose souls are tuned into heaven's wavelength. When a cat watches you, it's not passive, it's not casual, it's intentional. It's as if something in them is responding to something in you, something hidden, something rare, something otherworldly. Because cats don't stare at everyone that way. They don't follow every human. They're not obsessed with every visitor. But when you walk in, when you enter the room, they pause, they notice. Their eyes lock in, not on your body, but on your aura. They're checking the gates, sensing the alignment, and what they see, most people wouldn't believe. They see light. They see a soul marked by heaven. They see spiritual authority, even if you haven't stepped into it yet. And that's not random. That's design. In the same way that angels are assigned to protect the children of God, some animals, especially cats, are drawn to serve as watchers, observers, guardians at the edge of the spiritual battlefield. And this makes sense, because chosen ones are not just carriers of light, they're targets. You walk through this world glowing like a torch in a cave, which means the forces of darkness notice you. But guess what? So do the protectors. So do heaven's hidden agents, and some of those have fur, whiskers, and glowing eyes. They watch while you sleep. They sense when your spirit is under attack. They appear in your loneliest moments, not to entertain you, but to shield you, to stand guard, to remind your spirit. You are not unseen. You are not forgotten. You are guarded. And maybe, just maybe, that's why they appear when you're feeling the most lost. Maybe that's why they curl up near your feet when no one else is around. Because your soul is walking too close to spiritual fire, and they've been sent to watch the flame. But here's the part no one tells you. These guardians don't show up in everyone's life. They don't respond to every spirit, only to those who are marked, only to those with divine assignments, only to those whose presence affects the entire atmosphere. So if cats have always acted differently around you, if they follow you, if they stare at you like you're more than human, if they appear out of nowhere and refuse to leave your side, that's not random. That's recognition. But what exactly are they recognizing? What are they seeing in you that you still haven't dared to look at for yourself? And what if that stare, that haunting, quiet, knowing stare, is not just curiosity, but a summons? Because in the next few moments, you're going to discover something even deeper, something that will change the way you see yourself forever. There's something about you that you've never fully understood, something that doesn't show in the mirror, can't be captured in photos, and often goes completely unnoticed by the people around you. But the unseen world, it knows exactly who you are, because when you are chosen by God, there's a light inside of you, a radiant flame planted in your soul before you ever took your first breath. You may not feel it, you may not see it, but everything spiritual around you does. And cats, those silent watchers between worlds, they're especially tuned in. They don't see what's outside. They don't care about your status, your appearance, or your success. They look deeper. They tune into something most humans can't even detect. They see the light. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." Did you catch that? It cannot be hidden, no matter how much you try to blend in, no matter how much you downplay your purpose, no matter how often you feel invisible. The light still shines, not in the physical, but in the spirit. You can't turn it off. You can't dim it, because you didn't create it. God did. And when heaven places that kind of flame inside of you, all of creation responds to it, even the creatures that walk among us, especially the ones who were born to guard the gates. Cats don't just react to your voice, they react to your frequency, to the subtle divine vibration that radiates from your soul. That's why they come to you when you're hurting, why they stare at you when you're in deep thought, why they curl beside you when no one else is paying attention. Because they see what's glowing inside. And that glow is not of this world. And here's where it gets deeper. Your spiritual light doesn't only attract guardians, it also agitates darkness. That's why you've experienced so many sudden attacks, so many people turning on you without reason, so many moments of betrayal, isolation, and spiritual pressure. Because that light, it exposes what's hidden in others. It disrupts the atmosphere. It makes people uncomfortable, not because of what you've done, but because of what you carry. And yet, even when the world pushes you away, even when you feel forgotten, even when you walk through seasons of deep loneliness, the cats still come. The animals still draw near. Because while people are busy judging your outside, they're tuned into your essence. They recognize heaven's code, and it's not just beautiful, it's powerful. Because this light inside you, it's not decoration, it's a weapon, a spiritual signal that marks you as a bringer of truth in a world drowning in deception. You were never made to blend in. You were made to illuminate. You may have wondered your whole life, why don't I fit in? Why do people treat me like I'm different, even when I try to be normal? Why do I feel so deeply, see so clearly, hurt so much? It's because your soul has sight, your presence carries frequency, and your light, it stirs everything around it. That's why the cats follow you. That's why you wake up in the middle of the night sensing something watching, only to see those glowing eyes in the darkness, calm, still, almost as if they're standing guard. They're not staring at your face. They're looking past it, into something eternal. Because your light isn't just for you, it's for the world. And when you finally embrace that, when you stop hiding and start walking in it, everything changes. But here's the twist. Some of you have been carrying this light without ever knowing its true weight. You've been walking through life like a candle left burning in a dark closet, still lit, still glowing, but unseen. Yet even hidden flames send signals. And even when no human recognizes what you carry, the spirit realm always does. So when that cat stares at you, locks eyes with you, and won't look away, ask yourself, what are they seeing in me that I've been too afraid to acknowledge? Because the light is not waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be activated, and in the next breath, you'll learn exactly why that light inside you speaks louder than words, and how animals, unlike most people, are already listening. There's something deeply unsettling and deeply divine about being truly seen, not by people, but by animals. Because animals, especially cats, don't see masks. They don't fall for charisma, status, or performance. They move by instinct, by intuition, by pure vibration, and vibration doesn't lie. This is why their presence in your life is not just comforting, it's prophetic. It's a sign, a whisper, a subtle signal from the spirit realm that says, I see you, and I know who you really are. You see, when you carry divine energy, when you are marked by God as one of His chosen, you emit something. Even when you're silent, even when you doubt yourself, even when you feel empty, drained, or overlooked by the world, your soul is still vibrating. Your spirit is still radiating frequencies that animals respond to, because they don't react to words, they react to truth. And truth is your native language, chosen one, even when you try to hide it, even when trauma tries to shut it down, even when society tries to mute your voice. Your authenticity calls to the natural world like a spiritual beacon. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that cats come to you when you're quiet? When you're hurting? When you feel like no one else understands? It's not because they're curious. It's because they're aligned. They feel what people miss. They recognize your heart, not your image. They see your energy, not your expression. They come closer when you're vibrating higher, when your soul is stripped of all pretense and fully real. And here's the part most don't realize. Cats and many animals are repelled by low vibrational energy, deceit, jealousy, bitterness, ego. They move away from manipulation and pride. But they draw near to purity, brokenness, humility, presence, not perfection, presence. And you, chosen one, are present in a way few people ever are. Your light doesn't come from achievement. It comes from alignment, from walking through the fire and coming out cleaner, not colder. That's why they sit beside you, why they guard you while you sleep, why they look at you like they're reading your soul, because they are. And it's not just cats. Birds land near you. Dogs feel safe with you. Children stare. Strangers open up without knowing why, because what lives inside of you is truth, unfiltered, unshaken, untamed. This is why the world often misunderstands you. But animals understand you instantly. They don't need an explanation. They feel the rhythm of your spirit, and it resonates with something ancient, something holy. And maybe that's why they were sent to you in your darkest hour, to remind you of something the noise of life made. You forget, you don't have to prove who you are, you just have to be. Be real, be still, be open, be aligned, and everything that is divinely assigned to you will recognize you, without you having to say a single word. But here's where it gets deeper. When your vibration rises, when you step fully into your spiritual identity, you don't just attract comfort, you attract warfare, because light always draws both seekers and shadows. Which brings us to a hidden truth most people never consider. What if those cats weren't just sensing your peace, but guarding it? What if they weren't just coming to witness your light, but to protect it? Because the higher you rise, the more unseen enemies take notice, and the more intense the battle becomes. The more heaven deploys its unexpected watchers. And in the next revelation, we're going to uncover exactly why spiritual warfare doesn't just affect your emotions, but also shifts the entire atmosphere around you, even the animals, because what you're carrying is powerful, but it's also a target, and someone, or something, is standing in the gap for you, and you never even knew it. You may not see the battle, but you felt it, that unexplainable heaviness, the sudden anxiety that hits in waves, the strange fatigue that comes after moments of deep prayer or inner clarity, the spiritual pressure that suffocates your atmosphere, right when you're on the edge of a breakthrough. This is not random, it's warfare. Because the moment you were marked as one of God's chosen, you became a target, not because of your weaknesses, but because of your potential, because of the threat your light poses to the darkness. And, while most people live unaware, unbothered by the invisible currents around them, you feel it, you sense it, you carry it. Why? Because you were born into this world with spiritual authority. Your voice carries weight in the unseen realm. Your presence shifts environments. Your prayers shake invisible strongholds. Even your silence speaks loudly in the spirit. But with that kind of presence comes intense pressure. And make no mistake, the enemy knows who you are, even when you forget. That's why your life hasn't been easy, why your relationships often break without explanation, why the attacks come out of nowhere. Sudden health issues, mental fog, betrayal, delays, emotional ambushes that don't make sense. This is not normal life. This is spiritual warfare, and it's real. But here's the truth they didn't teach you. The more warfare you face, the more protection God assigns. Let me say that again. The more warfare you face, the more protection God assigns. Psalm 91:11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." Not just when you're in church, not just when you're strong, not just when you're aware. In all your ways, in your sleep, in your confusion, in your brokenness, in the battlefields of your mind that no one sees. And sometimes, that protection doesn't come with a halo or wings. Sometimes it comes in fur, with glowing eyes, with silence that speaks louder than words, with stillness that disrupts spiritual chaos. Because not all of God's guardians wear armor. Some walk on four paws, some curl at your feet, some watch the hallway while you sleep. Cats, especially around the chosen, are more than just animals. They are spiritual sentinels, observers, protectors stationed between dimensions. They see the demons circling you when no one else does. They sense the dark energies trying to cling to your aura, and they respond. That's why they suddenly jump, run, or hiss into empty space. Why they sit on your chest and stare into the darkness behind you. Why they sometimes become restless when you're calm, or calm when you're in turmoil. They're not reacting to the physical, they're intervening in the spiritual. They stand in the gap between realms, between what you know and what you don't even realize is attacking you. And here's the most mysterious part. Sometimes they appear in seasons when your spirit is under heavy siege. Out of nowhere, a stray cat starts following you. A cat shows up at your door. Or the one you've always had suddenly won't leave your side. You think it's coincidence. It's not. It's heaven sending help. It's God deploying defenders in forms you weren't expecting. You see, the kingdom of God operates in paradox. The weak are strong. The last are first. The small are mighty. And sometimes, the silent are the most lethal in spiritual combat. Because what looks like a calm, lounging feline may very well be a divine watcher standing between you and something that came to destroy you. Let that sink in. You didn't just get lucky with a cat that loves you. You were assigned one, because the battles you're fighting in secret have been noticed in heaven, and heaven never leaves its warriors unguarded. You are not crazy. You are not paranoid. You are not too sensitive. You are aware, because your spirit was designed to discern what others ignore. But this sensitivity has a cost. You feel more. You battle more. You carry more. But that's also why God surrounds you with more protection, more watchers, more eyes in the night, more defenders in fur. And the most mind-blowing part, these guardians don't just watch, they warn, they absorb, they block. That's why, after a heavy day, your cat suddenly won't leave your lap. Why it paces the room like something is wrong. Because something is, and they know it before you do. They're not alarmed by shadows, they're confronting spirits. So if you've ever wondered why cats act strange around you, why they appear when you're weak, why they sit still and stare into darkness as if guarding the gates of your very soul, understand this. You are not just being watched. You are being protected, strategically, spiritually, constantly. Because heaven does not leave its chosen ones exposed. But here's the mystery. If the enemy is intensifying its attacks on you, why now? Why this season? And what exactly is coming that has stirred both darkness and divine protection to surround your life? In the next chapter, we'll uncover the final revelation, and when you hear it, you'll never see yourself or your guardians the same way again. There's something you need to hear right now, and it's not just encouragement, it's confirmation. If you've ever looked around your life and asked, why do things feel so different for me? Why do I sense things other people can't? Why do even animals act strange around me? It's not imagination. It's not sensitivity. It's not just how you are. It's because heaven marked you. Before you were formed in the womb, God knew you. He set you apart, not for comfort, not for applause, but for impact, for purpose, for divine assignment. And here's the twist most people never realize. When you carry a calling that's not of this world can't explain you. It mislabels you. It misunderstands you. It tries to box you into a life you were never created to live. But the natural world knows better. Even the animals respond. They see what people overlook. They feel what the crowd ignores. Because your presence carries a charge, a heavenly frequency that speaks to creation itself. That's why cats behave the way they do around you. Why they come close when you're broken. Why they stare when you're still. Why they follow you when you're unaware. Because something in you is shouting in the spirit, even when you say nothing. Romans 8:19 says, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." Creation is waiting for you. The earth itself is longing for you to step into who you really are. And guess what? The signs have already started showing up around you. That cat isn't just sitting on your lap. It's responding to divine movement, to unseen energy, to the authority you don't even realize you carry. Chosen one, you are not crazy. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You're called. And everything you've been through, every loss, every storm, every moment that almost broke you, it was all part of the preparation, because purpose always requires pressure. And destiny doesn't grow in the light. It grows in the shadows, in the hidden places, where no one claps for you, where no one sees you. But God is forming you, and now, the world is beginning to see what heaven already knew, through signs, through synchronicities, through the way creation itself moves around you. Cats, birds, dreams, disruptions, delays, all of it is pointing to one truth. You are carrying something greater than yourself, something too big to contain, something that can't be silenced anymore. But you've been doubting it, because life has made you question your value. People have made you question your worth. Pain has made you question your power. But here's what the enemy never expected: that even after all the attacks, even after all the isolation, even after all the nights you cried out and heard nothing in return, you'd still be standing. Still glowing. Still chosen. Still marked. Because the anointing God placed on your life was never dependent on human validation. It was sealed in the Spirit. And sealed things cannot be broken by man. Now it's time, not to be perfect, but to walk boldly, to rise, to own the light inside of you, because the reason creation is reacting to you is because heaven is activating something through you. You thought you were ordinary. You are not. You are a living portal of divine presence, an instrument of spiritual disruption, a walking answer to prayers you don't even remember praying. And those moments when everything feels too heavy, when you want to quit, when the weight of your assignment feels unbearable, just remember, even the guardians were sent for a reason. Even the cats came as confirmation. Even the silence of the spirit realm is strategy, not rejection, because when the enemy increases resistance, it's only a sign that your purpose is closer than ever. Your identity isn't something you achieve, it's something you accept. And once you do, once you embrace what you carry, everything shifts. So if you've been waiting for a sign, let this be it. Not just the words you're hearing, but the signs you've already seen. The animals, the atmospheres, the alignment, all of it was heaven's way of whispering, you are more than you think, and your time is now. But here's the most crucial part. Purpose without activation is just potential. And in the final revelation, we're going to uncover what happens when a chosen one fully awakens, and why the world, the spirit realm, and even the animals will never be the same again. Next time a cat stares at you, don't just brush it off. Don't laugh. Don't look away. Don't dismiss the moment as coincidence. Because that stare, that pause in time, that lock between your soul and theirs, is not random. It's recognition, a creature of creation, seeing something divine. A silent witness to what you've tried to hide. What the world made you doubt. What religion couldn't always explain. They see it. Not the version of you that's tired. Not the version of you that's been rejected. Not the version of you carrying scars from 1,000 silent battles. No, they see the real you, the chosen you, the one anointed before birth, the one forged in fire, the one marked by heaven. So maybe, just maybe, it's time you stop questioning your identity. Stop shrinking to fit rooms that don't honor your presence. Stop waiting for permission to be what you already are. Because when animals, creations without ego or agenda, recognize your light, it means that even the realm beyond human perception knows your name. Let that sink in. The very fabric of nature bends slightly when you're near, because something holy walks within you. And the truth is, you've been sensing it all along, in your quiet moments, in your deepest longings, in those nights when you couldn't explain the ache in your spirit. It wasn't emptiness, it was a call. And now, you can no longer ignore it, because what you carry isn't just light. It's destiny, it's revelation, it's movement from heaven to earth. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken the world. So rise, chosen one, walk boldly, speak fearlessly, shine without apology. Because there's a war in the unseen, and your presence shifts atmospheres. There's a purpose so big inside you that even the animals pause to honor it. There's a glory resting on you that can no longer be hidden. And if they can see it, why can't you? Maybe it's time. You see what they've been seeing all along. Maybe it's time. You believe what heaven already decided. You are not random.